What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today I'll be going over my top 5 whiskeys for 2021. So real quick announcement before I get started here. I recently came down with COVID and I'm getting over it. I'm doing much better than I was a few days ago, but I lost my sense of smell completely. And part of my taste, I would say now it's up to like maybe 90%. Today was the first day where I could actually smell little scents here and there, but my smell is still nowhere near 100%. So with that in mind, I'm not sure when I'm gonna release my next episode, my next review or anything. So I just wanted to let you guys know, if you guys don't see a review up on the channel next week, that's probably why. I don't want to do a review unless my smell is 100%. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, so now to the good stuff. My top 5 whiskeys for 2021. I have 2 honorable mentions, and before I get into it, I just want to go over my criteria really quick. These are my top 5 whiskeys that I tried this year. So they're not all brand new for 2021. Some of them probably came out before 2021, but you know, they were new to me. And these are ryes, they're scotch, it could be any category. So just my top 5 whiskeys that I tried, you know, that made an impression on me for 2021. And I've tried a whole bunch of whiskeys. It was really hard to narrow it down to 5, and it was also hard for me to put them in order because they were all so good in their own way. So all right, here we go. So my first honorable mention for my top 5 whiskeys for 2021 is Sagamore Spirit Rye. This is the Double Oak. So this is a straight rye whiskey, and these guys are out of Baltimore, Maryland. And this one here is 48.3% ABV. So this is 96.6 proof. And talk about just like a rye that really made an impression on me, because this is more like a bourbon drinker's rye. I would say it just has so much flavor, so much going on. It is a little bit on the pricey side depending on where you're at. These can range anywhere from $60 to $75 around there. It just really depends on your area, but it really made an impression on me. So different from any other rye that I tried this year. It's so good, and I don't think this came out in 2021. It might have, I'm not too sure about that, but I had to put it on. It just didn't make my top 5, but I had to put it somewhere on the list, so that's why it made my honorable mention. All right, so my second and final honorable mention that barely missed out on the top 5, and this is another rye actually. So we have Catoctin Creek Roundstone Rye. So this is the cask proof edition. This is non-chill filtered, and this is 58% ABV. And these guys, I believe, are out of Virginia. I believe it's out of Virginia, Purcellville, Virginia. And like I said, this is a cask proof, and these can vary from bottle to bottle, so just keep that in mind. But the bottle I picked up, it was amazing. It was really, really amazing. And this is a pot distilled, so I think the pot distilled really brought a lot of different notes that I wasn't expecting. So when I first tried this, it just really, you know, caught me by surprise. Like I was getting these like prominent like cantaloupe note, which I've never had in any whiskey before. And I think that was due to the pot still. So it was really unique, really different. And like I said, it just depends on the bottle that you get. But as far as the bottle that I got, it really, really, really made an impression on me this year. And I had to put it somewhere on the list and barely missed the top 5. This is a really, really solid rye. You know, a smaller craft distillery, doing great things. And if you guys get a chance to check them out, you know, don't hesitate. They're doing good things. All right, so now to the good stuff. My top 5 whiskeys for 2021. Another year. Here we go. So number 5 kind of a surprise. This is Booker's Bardstown batch. All right, so Booker's Bardstown batch. This is the third release of 2021. They had 4 releases this year. This one is 125.5 proof, so that's 62.75% ABV. It's 6 years and 5 months old. And you know, I wasn't expecting to include a Booker's this year. Booker's, you know, they're hit or miss, and they're so pricey. These can retail anywhere from $65 to up to $100. I've seen them in some places, so it really just depends on the area, but they're more towards the $100 mark. They're just getting out of hand, and like I said, they're hit or miss. But this specific batch this year really like blew me away. It felt like Booker's went back to being Booker's. They're just like a ton of peanut, but also a lot of sweetness, a lot of cherry in there, and just a long lingering finish, and just everything that I look for in a Booker's, this batch actually had this year, and it really impressed me. So, you know, it barely made the top 5, but I couldn't leave it out of the top 5 because it made that much of an impression on me. So good on their part. Hopefully more of their batches start going towards this direction and not towards some of the other batches that weren't that great. So all right, so number 4 for my top 5 whiskeys for 2021. Another one that might surprise people. This is the George Dickel 15 year. All right, so the George Dickel 15-year-old. This is a single barrel, so that's the one thing. This will vary from bottle to bottle, and also the ABVs on these vary. So I was lucky enough when I went to a trip to Texas, I was able to find the highest proof that they offer this 15-year-old in, which is 52.3% ABV. Yeah, so this isn't for everybody because I know a lot of people are turned off by the Dickel profile, but if you don't mind that Dickel profile, this is a hitter. Talk about a hitter, just like lots of oak, sweet oak and chocolate and coffee and you know, sweetness, and also with a lot of spice. Just so much going on in this bottle. Also, for I believe it was around anywhere between $60 or $70. It could have been less that I purchased this for, which is unheard of. You know, a 15-year whiskey for, you know, under $100 is pretty much unheard of these days. So they did an amazing job with this, and if you guys get a chance and you can find the higher proof one, I would say go for it. I've heard mixed reviews on the lower proof ones, but as far as this one here, they knocked it out of the park. Another great one. All right, so number 3 for my top 5 whiskeys of 2021. This one is let's say a two-way tie. I didn't want to just pick one, even though I have a favorite, because it just depends on your preference. So number 3 on my list is Maker's Mark FAE01 and FAE02. All right, so Maker's Mark, I do have a favorite. So my favorite this year was the FAE02, but they were very, very close, just extremely close. You know, on any day it could be the other one. So, and a lot of people are the same way. So I needed to include both of these on the list because it just really depends what you like and, you know, what you're into and what you like. So as far as the FAE01, this one came in at 110.6 proof. That's 55.3% ABV. And this one, when I first tasted it, you know, it was more fruity, you know, fruit forward, and with that spice, you know, Makers, you know, I always get a lot of spice out of Makers, but this one's just super fruity. As far as this one's more, this is the FAE02. This one came in at 109.1. That's 54.55% ABV. And this one's more a texture thing, just super creamy. It's much darker as far as the palate, like you get darker notes, and still a lot of spice. So it just really depends what you prefer in your whiskeys. But As far as me, this one made a bigger impression on me. I really enjoyed this one a little bit more, but you can't go wrong with either of these. And I still see these on the shelf. These are, more limited, but they're not that hard to find. I believe everywhere. So it just, if you look on the shelves and you see any of these, just don't hesitate to pick them up. If you enjoy makers, and especially the higher stuff in makers, you won't be disappointed. So I had to include both of these as number 3. I just couldn't, I enjoyed both so much, but if I had to choose one, I would go with the FAO2, but that's just my personal preference. All right, we're down to the top 2. This was a really hard one for me because number 1 just came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it to take number 1, but it really blew me away by far. But let's go to number 2. So number 2 for my top 5 whiskeys for 2021 is Calumet Farm 15. All right, so Calumet Farm 15-year-old. This is a blend of 19 barrels. Is the batch size for this, and this comes in at 105 proof, and that's 52.5% ABV. Now this one is probably the priciest one by far out of all of these. This one comes in at around like $120, but is well worth it. Oh my God, they knocked it out of the park. Like, I'm trying my best not to go through this bottle, but it really is so good. It just like, talk about like sweet cherry, just like it almost like heading towards the medicinal cherry, but not there. It's just like a perfect amount of like cherry, and it's not hard to discern. It's just like from the nose to the palate, you really pick up that cherry along with an intense amount of oak, but it's not like bitter, and it's not tannic, it's not like off-putting. It's just like a sweet oak, and then a ton of spice in this one as well. So and for me, you guys that watch my videos, I enjoy my spice in my whiskeys, and this one has a lot of it to balance out that sweetness and that oak. So just so much balance, so much complexity in here, a lot of chocolate as well, just a lot going on, and I think well worth it, and it deserved number 2 on my list. So all right, we're down to the last one for my top 5 whiskeys for 2021, and the honor goes to Laphroaig Cargis. All right, Laphroaig Cargis. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this is Laphroaig, and it is finished in Pedro Jimenez cask, which is a sherry. So this one comes in at 58.9% ABV, so that's 117.8 proof. This is an Islay Scotch. So I wasn't expecting a Scotch to make my top whiskey for 2021, not because I don't enjoy scotches, just because I didn't get to try a wide variety of scotches this year. But I enjoy my peated scotches, and I really enjoy Laphroaig. But when I tried this this year, it just completely blew everything else out of the water. It just really did it for me this year. Talk about just pouring it in the glass and just taking your time with it, just going on a little adventure, a little journey. I was just sitting there like blown away, just the amount of like, you get your peat, you get your brine, you get your salty, but then like everything is enveloped with that sherry that just weaves through the smoke, through everything else that Laphroaig brings to the table, and just completely like weaves through it perfectly, just balancing everything out with that sweetness from the sherry. It was just amazing, and something that I would recommend to anyone. If you're into peated scotches, I would say this is the one to get. Just completely blew me away, and that's why it made number 1 on my list for 2021. So there you guys have it, my top 5 whiskeys for 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I want to wish you guys a happy new year. If, like I said, if you guys don't see an episode for a while, just know that I'm trying to get over not having my sense of smell. But as soon as I have it back, I'm gonna put out an episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed the list this year, and if you like my content, remember to smash that like button. Remember to subscribe. You guys can catch me on Instagram at Legit Whiskey Reviews, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.